In this video, we're going to take a look at the inner glow layer style, which if you have already watched the video on the outer glow layer style, the two are extremely similar. They really only differ in where the glow is placed on your layer. So here I have our stick figure, and I have a background for him. I'm going to do something a little different here. We're going to take our background layer, which is just a standard color fill, and I'm going to make it kind of a darkish shade of gray. Then I'm going to take the stick figure layer, again another color fill, the shape of which defined by the layer mask, and I'm going to make this black. It's just going to help us see the result of our inner glow a little bit better. Now, I'll double click on my stick figure layer and we'll go ahead and jump straight down to inner glow. Now what this does is it creates a glow effect toward the inside of your layer. So it's on the solid pixels moving away from the areas of transparency. And if I jump straight down to the size slider and increase that, you can see the result fairly easily. Now, starting at the very top, we have our blend mode setting. This is pretty straightforward. It just allows you to control how those colored pixels are blending with your document. Of course, the default value of screen means that they're always going to be lightened by whatever color you have. And that default color is always going to be this kind of pale yellow, at least unless you change your defaults. Now, you have an opacity slider, which is kind of like glow intensity. This is set to 75 by default, and you have noise that you can apply if you need some graininess, just to make your glow maybe blend into the background, or maybe you just like the effect of noisy glow, I suppose. Now down underneath this, you have a standard color picker, which allows you to change the color of your glow to any color that you like. And then you also have a gradient that you can use instead. So if you switch this over to gradient and then click on the actual gradient itself, then you can open this up and set this to any gradient shade that you like. Now the cool thing about doing this is you can control the shift in color from the base of the glow all the way out to the edge. So here I am going from blue to red to yellow, and you can see the end result. Now, of course, if you just want to grab the presets, you don't have to click on the color swatch itself. You can use the little drop down and choose one of those right away. Now I'm going to set this back over to a standard color. Now down in the elements group, we have the first thing is a drop-down that allows us to choose the technique for the glow algorithm. Softer will generally look better, but precise will take the actual pixel data and branch out specifically at an incident angle from that, kind of perpendicularly to the angle formed by the pixels. It will lead to some funny anomalies in all but the straightest of lines, so keep that in mind. Next, we have the source of the glow. Do you want this to take place from the edge of your shape or from the center? And in a way, this kind of inverts your glow. So what we've got here is our glow is starting from the inside edge, or starting from the inside of the shape and working its way out to the edge. And then here we have the inverse, where we're starting at the edge and working our way back in. And in either case, you can adjust the size to change that effect. We're going to leave ours at edge for now. Now size we've already seen. This just controls how far out that glow extends into your shape. Choke is going to take the full intensity portion of the glow and extend that out further. So if you've really increased your size and you need to just kind of thicken that up. Actually, let's leave the size kind of low. And we just need to kind of thicken up the area that is full bright. We can use choke to push that out just a little bit further. You do have to kind of watch out, though, because it can look a little cheesy if you crank your choke up too far. Next, we have contour. This allows you to control the mapping from completely opaque to completely transparent. So you'll see as I make adjustments to the curve, the shape of that transitional area adjusts as well. And of course you can use any of the presets and get some pretty wild effects from that. Down from here we have the range. This allows us to control how far out that glow is going to extend. Now by default this is set to 50%, so you can kind of soften it up by setting this to 100, or really make it extremely apparent all the way to its the full extent of that size by pulling your range down. And then jitter is just going to put a very subtle sort of modulation, that's not the right word, a subtle sort of transition. It's going to make all the pixels kind of wiggle around and create variation within that adjustment area. The effect is extremely subtle, and only if you zoom in can you really see it. Next we have Make default, which will take whatever settings you have created inside this window and make them the defaults from now on, or of course you can just click and reset to defaults. That is a rundown of all of the settings for the inner glow, which once again is just going to create a glow effect over the solid pixels of your layer, as opposed to the outside edge of your layer in the transparent area that we saw with the outer glow. Now, I do want to mention before we run away that you can combine these, so we can have an outer glow and we can have an inner glow taking place at the same time, and you can get some neat effects that way. That will wrap things up for this video, however. Thanks a lot.